The Walking Dead franchise has always thrived on unpredictable, character-driven narratives and shocking twists. With interconnected stories spanning the original series and spin-offs, our ScreenRant written Season 12 brings Rick, Michonne, Daryl, Maggie, Negan, and more together against a terrifying new threat with devastating consequences for everyone.
We get to start over.
The story begins with a lone scout, one of the Commonwealth's most trusted trackers, returning from a patrol beyond the community's outer limits. Exhausted and wounded, they stumble into Ezekiel's office, reporting on an unnerving sighting of a massive horde exhibiting strange coordinated behavior unlike any they've encountered before. These walkers move with eerie coordination as though an unseen force is guiding them. Governor Ezekiel, who has brought hope and stability to the Commonwealth since taking over from Pamela Milton, calls an emergency meeting with Mercer, Yumiko, and the council. While some argue for fortifying their defenses, others suggest sending out additional scouting parties to confirm the threat. Pragmatic in his leadership, Ezekiel decides to split the difference. He orders Mercer to reinforce the walls and train the militia, while Yumiko organizes a diplomatic mission to neighboring communities for support. Meanwhile, Maggie and Negan are still navigating the aftermath of Dead City in Manhattan. Both have been rocked by what they endured in order to escape the manipulations of the Dama. To save Herschel and Maggie, Negan had to convince the Dama that he was still the dark Lucille-wielding tormentor he used to be. He exacted orders that pulled him deeper into his old ways until he could double-cross Dama and escape with Maggie and her son. Their fragile partnership is tested when they stumble across a small town that has been completely overrun. At first, it appears to be an ordinary walker attack, but Maggie notices unsettling details such as barricades that have been dismantled from the inside and patterns in the blood smears that suggest tactics. Negan brushes it off as paranoia until they're ambushed by a group of walkers who seem conscious of luring them into a trap. Forced to fight their way out, they barely escape with their lives. For the first time, Negan admits Maggie might be correct and agrees that these walkers seem to have evolved. In Europe, Daryl and Carol are wrapping up their mission to aid a group of survivors in northern France. Their storyline focuses on their determination to return to the United States. Knowing their family needs them, they face countless obstacles, securing a boat, gathering supplies, and fending off ordinary walkers and human adversaries. Along the way, Daryl opens up about his fear that the group has drifted apart beyond repair. Carol assures him that their bonds are stronger than he thinks. Back at the Commonwealth, tensions rise as more scouts report sightings of the hive-mind horde. Ezekiel's leadership is tested when a faction within the community, fueled by real fear, demands that the town be evacuated immediately. Fearing the Commonwealth's defenses won't hold, Mercer suggests to Ezekiel that they start preparing for a worst-case scenario. Yumiko, however, believes that abandoning the Commonwealth would shatter the fragile hope the community has built and leave the people even more vulnerable. Proving that he's willing to put himself on the line for the people he serves, Ezekiel decides to lead by example. He orders one final reconnaissance mission to take him to observe the horde's behavior firsthand. He personally joins Mercer in a team of elite fighters. The mission is a harrowing experience. They witness the horde overwhelming a fortified settlement in minutes. The walkers' coordination is terrifyingly structured. They seem to form choke points, scale walls, and even use debris to block escape routes in a silent, almost hypnotized manner. Ezekiel and his team narrowly avoid being surrounded. They manage to escape, but the experience leaves them shaken. They realize that the walkers are no longer the same lone creatures they once were. Meanwhile, Maggie, Herschel, and Negan continue to make their way back to the Commonwealth, encountering pockets of hive-mind walkers along the way. Their relationship continues to evolve as Negan finds himself naturally stepping in to protect Maggie's son in dangerous situations. Despite their shared experiences, Maggie struggles to trust Negan fully, and their arguments reveal the lingering scars of their past. Negan, however, surprises her with moments of vulnerability, admitting that he's trying to be the man his wife would have wanted him to be. Daryl and Carol's journey across the Atlantic is filled with tension as they face dwindling supplies, dangerous storms, and a mutinous crew on the ship they've secured passage on. Their bond deepens as they rely on each other to survive. Carol, who has always been the group's moral compass, finds herself questioning whether they'll ever truly find peace. Daryl's determination, however, reignites her hope. He reminds her that there is no peace without their Commonwealth family back in the States. Rick and Michonne's journey back to Ohio is fraught with its own unique challenges. After escaping CRM captivity and reconnecting, they set out on a dangerous path to reunite with their family. Their travels take them through desolate cities and treacherous wilderness, where they face not only walkers, but also remnants of CRM operatives still hunting them. Rick's knowledge of the CRM's inner workings makes him a valuable target, while Michonne's fierce determination to protect him and find their children adds emotional weight to their journey. Along the way, Rick wrestles with the guilt of leaving his family behind and the choices he's made to survive. Ever his rock, Michonne reminds him that redemption lies in what they do next. In one poignant moment, they come across an abandoned school filled with drawings left behind by children. The site reminds them of Judith and RJ, fueling their resolve to keep moving. Michonne builds Rick's resolve by telling him they must keep fighting for their family. Their journey also forces them to confront their own fears and doubts. In one harrowing encounter, they're surrounded by a group of desperate survivors who blame Rick for the CRM's actions. The confrontation nearly turns deadly, but Michonne's quick thinking diffuses the situation. As they leave, Rick realizes the far-reaching consequences of his involvement with the CRM and vows to make amends. Over in Ohio, Maggie, Herschel, and Negan arrive at the Commonwealth with critical intel about the hive-mind walkers. Based on their migratory patterns, it looks as if the walkers are forming some form of army-like horde that looks to be heading straight for the Commonwealth. This confirms Ezekiel's worst fears, and the news could threaten widespread panic. Offering his help, Negan draws on his past experiences as a former leader and proposes a controversial plan. He suggests they lure the horde into a trap using the Commonwealth's resources. His suggestion sparks another split in the community, and there is fierce debate among the council. Maggie opposes Negan at every turn, leaving Ezekiel to step in as the mediator. He recognizes the merit of Negan's plan, but insists on adding safeguards to protect the community. The climactic confrontation begins as the Commonwealth mobilizes its defenses. Under Ezekiel's leadership, the survivors execute a daring plan to draw the hive-mind walkers into an industrial zone on the outskirts of the community. Maggie and Negan lead teams to set up explosives, while Mercer organizes the militia to protect the workers. Carol arrives just in time with Daryl, and their reunion is brief but heartfelt before they're thrown into the chaos of battle. As the horde closes in, the survivors face unimaginable odds. The hive-mind walkers adapt to the defenders' tactics, forcing the fighters to improvise. Negan gives his life to buy time for Maggie and the others to complete the trap. His sacrifice mirrors the cruelty he exacted in his earlier life, but this time he does it for the greater good. Maggie watches in shock as Negan is overwhelmed, his final words a plea for her to keep going. The explosion destroys the majority of the horde, but it's a bittersweet victory. The Commonwealth is left in ruins, and many lives are lost. In the aftermath, Rick and Michonne arrive with critical information about the CRM's experiments, tying the hive-mind walkers to the organization's reckless pursuit of control. Their reunion with Daryl, Carol, and the others is emotional but overshadowed by the looming threat of the CRM. The season ends with a haunting image of a surviving hive-mind walker picking itself up from the rubble, its eyes glowing with intelligence. The fight isn't over. Our ScreenRant version of Season 12 of The Walking Dead delivers a gripping narrative that unites beloved characters while introducing a terrifying new threat. This storyline honors the series' legacy while pushing it in bold new directions. How would you like to see a plot like this? Do you have your own storyline ideas? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.